And it is time to get raw. It is time to get down. It is time for ye old RAWDOWN, the number one source for all things WWE right here at the Turnbuckle Tavern. I am your host, Young Anthony, finally back after a week spent at a local medical facility. I'm kidding. But I'm glad to be back after being sick. Thank you guys for holding down the fort, as I'm joined, of course, by my co-host, Boney Khan himself, and MVP Marco. Guys, how are we doing this week?
Doing well. I'm doing great.
Trying to get over this COVID stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. It's definitely not a great thing to have.
I got a bag full of cough drops. I'm ready to rock and roll, though. So.
Hey, man, I got them right here, too. I'm with you. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, we got a stacked show today, as I do want to shout out some of our listeners, watchers, wherever you're tuning into. Jaden Sneed, hello, welcome, as always, the staple of the comment section. Tyson Trevino is in the chat. And also a new regular to the tavern, Dominic Adams. Welcome.
What up,
he joined
Dominic?
us for the day one, so I'm glad to have you here. We have so much that we need to get into for today. Mickie James, an Impact World Champion, is going to be in the Royal Rumble. We got to talk about that. Some breaking news, actually. MLW suing WWE. That's crazy. You're damn sure we're going to start the show with that one. Plus, is it the end of the brand split? We're seeing some champions switching over. Are we going to end things off? We got to figure it out. Before we do get into the show, we have to do some plugs. Boney, talk about coming down the aisle.
Well, coming down the aisle this week, we got Mr. Stephen Ferrugia from merry old England. He wrote a book called How to Be a Mark Without Leaving a Mark. I've got an advanced copy. It's a good book. It's really his love letter to pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's an excellent book. So I encourage everybody to check that out. He came on the show. I'm trying to survive COVID. So I don't know if I'll have a free the fig this week. I'll try to muster up something here. But other than that, that's about it.
Nice. Marco, talk about the Chick Foley show.
Oh, yeah. So we have a new episode out. We had a Monday drop this week. We kind of covered pretty much the first week of the new year. That was pretty much I thought it was going to be a dead week in wrestling news, but apparently, there was a million shows that happened throughout the week. You had day one.
It's never a dead week in wrestling.
You had the Battle of the Belts, everything. So we cover all that stuff and some figure reveals as well. So yeah, new episode out everywhere you get your podcasts. So we're joined by the one and only Fig God Jordan Wells as well this week. So
nice.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It gets a little crazy. There's a segment in there where we kind of book Mox's this is a WWE show, but we kind of book Mox's return to AEW, and
wow.
kind of goes off the rails a little bit. So
yeah,
just a little bit. Tease there.
Sounds good. I love it. I love all the Pod Foundation content. Speaking of the Pod Foundation, of course, Turnbuckle Tavern, we are posting damn near every day. You can, of course, listen to our WWE reviews right here on the RAWDOWN, AEW reviews, of course, the flagship show that's released on Thursdays. We have Sessions, Fig Night, the fucking GCW show, all these different shows that you can tune into every single week. And of course, if you want to buy some merch, you can always do that at prowrestlingtees.com/tavern. You can get yourself a Young Anthony shirt, a Boney Khan shirt. You can get yourself all the tavern apparel that you want to in the world at reasonable prices. And you definitely want to go ahead and do that. Plus, of course, the RAWDOWN is a podcast. If you go ahead and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Mike Belcaster himself will send you a sticker. And you're going to want one of those stickers because, it's Mike Belcaster. Come on now. We all want a sticker from him. But so much great stuff going on at the tavern. And I'm looking forward to the future. However, we need to get to the present, or should I say the past, because there is something that we need to address to kick off today's show. Of course, I was away last week. I know my absence was heavily seen here on the show.
We're fine.
But now I'm here, and you can see how great the show is already. And we need to actually talk about something that should have been addressed last week, but thankfully we waited until this week. And I think it's time for our first segment.
Hear ye, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Please welcome to the RAWDOWN right here at the Turnbuckle Tavern Studios. And still, your RAWDOWN champion, Hollywood Young Anthony.
And still, your RAWDOWN predictions champion in the flesh, Hollywood has arrived. And unfortunately, my title is not where it should be.
Yeah, it's more on my side. That's where it should be.
It is, honestly. Look at that. Whatever. But still, your RAWDOWN predictions champion. I would like to address the fact that I mean, we didn't really go through all the matches, but I'm pretty sure that I did get the most predictions right. Plus, I was the only one to do the correct prediction of Brock Lesnar becoming your new WWE champion, which you could check the tapes on that one because I did do a live reaction of day one for 3 hours, and that was said multiple times throughout the stream. However, nonetheless, I want to thank my fans, first of all, for
all right.
for allowing me the chance to hold on to this title for a few more weeks. I want to thank Boney, and I want to thank Marco, and I even want to thank Tom for being so bad at predictions that I am still your RAWDOWN champion. I said that I would retain my championship, and here we are. And I would like to go on record and say that in a few weeks I will be defending my championship again. But I know for a fact that I will still be your RAWDOWN predictions champion, and that is not a prediction.
Oh my God!
That, my friend,
can we boot him?
Is a spoiler. You can't mute me because I'm in charge of the StreamYard today. But nevertheless, I do want to thank my fans for being champion. You know what? Over there, you can kind of.
It should be next to me. You won by default.
Yeah,
I did win by default, but a win is a win. So I will take any win that I can get.
It was a 60-minute time limit draw, which we all know is bullshit matches.
Yes,
so
that's fine. Look, it wasn't the prettiest finish, but nonetheless, a win is a win. So I will take my championship. True. But folks, in a few weeks, this championship's going to be on the line again, and probably in the most unpredictable way with the Royal Rumble. We are going to give our predictions once we know the full card. I wonder what's going to happen with that one, because we're going to have to predict the Rumble matches. We're going to have to, do a lot of predictions on that one. So until then, I will happily accept this championship for a few more weeks. And I'm glad that I can represent the RAWDOWN as your champion.
Are you done?
I'm done. Now I'm done.
We've gone now like 8 minutes of you just talking shit.
9 minutes, actually. But we need to move on because we have a loaded show. And we got to get right into it because there's a lot of news that happened
outside the ropes.
With our beautiful new intro. So it's time to get into Outside the Ropes. And let's just kick it off with the news that literally just happened today. Wanted to get into it. MLW sues WWE. So I have some of the official, wording and everything here. As described in the complaint, WWE pressured third parties to abandon contracts and prospective relationships with MLW. WWE's misconduct included disrupting every level of MLW's business, including a major streaming deal for MLW, which would have been transformative for the company. MLW also alleged in the complaint that in early 2021, after MLW announced that it was in talks with Vice TV to air MLW programs on Vice TV, then WWE executive warned Vice TV that WWE owner Vince McMahon was pissed that Vice TV was airing MLW programs and that Vice TV should stop working with MLW. Boys, gentlemen, crazy stuff to kick off this episode. What are your initial thoughts when you see this? Let's start with Marco.
first of all, whoever that executive is just name dropped Vince McMahon. I highly doubt Vince McMahon. Nothing against MLW, but I highly doubt Vince McMahon, said targeted MLW as a company that he wanted to take out out of commission for some reason. The only thing I can think of is, is Bruce Pritchard, who was, he was a part of MLW for a little bit. And that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, that would be probably the executive, but it did say former executive, right? Meaning that person probably doesn't work with the company anymore. But if he had any ill will towards MLW, it'd because his the guy that's right next to him essentially in making decisions used to work for them. But if there's a company that Vince McMahon is going to go after, obviously it's who. It's the cons essentially. But I find that this is kind of out of left field. I didn't even know this was there's rumblings of this actually happening.
Right.
This is the first time I'm ever actually hearing of a company going after WWE. Obviously, besides WCW way back in the day when they kind of almost sued him for the same thing. Kind of like defamation of character, kind of stopping them from making any profits. Essentially, that's what it all comes down to. Right. Is, I think WWE's done enough where they don't have to worry about the likes of an MLW or like a GCW or any one of those companies. But obviously I'm wrong in that sense because it seems like they think they're taking money out of their pockets.
Well, need I remind you guys, a few months ago, I think around 8 months, Dave Meltzer reported that WWE and MLW were kind of they wanted to do a little bit of a partnership, kind of like what.
I don't think that was true.
It was confirmed by Meltzer, and then Fightful confirmed it. So take it
so
with a grain of salt, but
so it's double negative confirmed then.
Yeah, exactly. I forget, one source declined it, but I'm not sure who it was. But to add on to it, Stephanie McMahon, I think, was the one that tried to end this partnership between MLW and Tubi, which is a streaming service owned by Fox, basically saying they could lose out. Fox can lose out on partnership from WWE and WWE's business if this partnership between MLW and Tubi continued. So Stephanie is kind of the one. It seems that's the one that's stirring the pot on this. Boney, what do you see with this? Going forward.
Well, so first of all, another thing that Fightful talked about is that they also allegedly tampered with contracts, and I'm saying WWE tampered with contracts. And they actually contacted WWE's legal team about this. This was in February 2020. And MLW kind of has the same deal where the talent signs exclusive contracts. Joey Janela actually tweeted something pretty interesting too here recently. Joey Janela, of course, was a part of MLW at one time. And is kind of like a known opponent of theirs, but he tweeted out this dude, meaning Court Bauer, who the owner of MLW, has no GCW written into his new contracts because I called him out for taking advantage of young talent. I hope the Titan. Kind of. I'm back. Okay. I don't know if I experience issues. This could get kind of messy. If with Joey Janela, and they do sign exclusive deals. So this could even expand the talk upon should pro wrestlers be signing exclusive contracts. They're contracted employees, they do 1099s essentially, even in WWE, meaning that, they're not employees. They don't receive health benefits. So this could even expand that talk even further because, AEW, GCW, New Japan, they allow their Impact, they allow their their talent to go pretty much wherever for the most part. And they're not bound to anything. So that's another part of this as well too. Do I think WWE did this? Absolutely. They've done this kind of hiding out, pirating bullshit for years. To be honest with you, I mean, even going back to territory days. I mean, WrestleMania was funded off the back of the Crockett's. So and that's why Vince is where he's in the position he's at.
Yeah,
let's be real. He's
Absolutely.
a shrewd businessman.
Well, I actually want to get into this comment by, of course, the Tavern himself, Chad. Vince is smart, plays the long game, eliminate the smaller promotions first, flood the market, hope AEW overextends itself, sit back and wait for AEW to fall while making smart business moves. I actually wanted to kind of tie this into what would be our next outside the ropes topic, and crazy kind of link towards it, but on SmackDown we heard that Mickie James, your Impact Knockouts champion, and also very much linked to NWA, MLW, that she would be within the Royal Rumble. This is the first time that WWE has done any Forbidden Door stuff. Definitely we've seen a lot of stuff from Impact, so it's very much in their light. But I wanted to ask you guys, and I want to present this to you guys as a question. Do you think WWE kind of announced that Mickie James would be in the Royal Rumble to kind of undermine the situation in the sense that, you're seeing that WWE doesn't like the competition, but they kind of push this as a way to say, yeah, we're kind of in this Forbidden Door thing too. JBone, what are you thinking?
No, I mean, they did it because they have no talent.
Well,
not saying talent there is not good. What I mean is they don't have enough to fill a 30-person ring. Put 30 people in a Royal Rumble. I mean, what do they have, like 12 women under contract on the main roster?
I couldn't even tell you.
Something along those lines. I think it's just, I don't know. This is not the first time they've actually done this. Going back 97 Rumble, they had AAA involved. They even had Carlos Colon in, I think, the 92 Rumble with his promotion. Excuse me. This is just a PR deal, and maybe it is connected, maybe it isn't. I don't know, but I think mainly they just need talent.
That's very fair. Nick Arias from the Ring Fanatics podcast says, personally, I think Mickie James and mentioning Impact is a one-time thing. I feel like James negotiated this with Vince in order to persuade her to join the match if Impact and WWE mention it more often throughout the weeks, or even have her show up in person in WWE or via satellite, then maybe I'll believe it more that it'll actually happen. Well, I will say to that, I was watching Hard to Kill. First of all, great pay-per-view. If you haven't checked out a lot of those matches, do check them out. They were definitely pushing the narrative of WWE and Mickie James being in the Rumble on Hard to Kill. Deonna Purrazzo was mentioning it. Diamora was mentioning it throughout the night. And the commentary, especially, I think, funny enough, Tom Phillips, who is now the Impact commentator, was mentioning it a lot as well. It's just weird to hear the name WWE on Impact programming. But, I mean, you look at it from the sense that as much as we can, even himself, Tony Khan, said that he was the Forbidden Door, Impact was doing the Forbidden Door stuff far before Tony Khan was doing this. You even look at the minor partnerships that they had with New Japan. I remember seeing Jeff Hardy on a Wrestle Kingdom being one of the most interesting concepts of that time. Even their partnership with like Lucha Underground and a lot of those shows that they did. So it's not, out of the ordinary for Impact to do this. If anything, they are the Forbidden Door. And now we're especially seeing that with WWE putting their name into the hat with all of this. Marco, what are your thoughts on everything? Do you think we're going to see some more Impact partnership in the future, or do you think this is a one-time thing?
I mean, going by what John's saying about like not having that much talent, I mean, I can see it probably happening. Not like constantly like people are going to show up on like Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But another interesting thing that that you brought up with the like the Tubi deal and stuff like that, you forget that like companies like Fox and like USA, like we'll just say Comcast or Xfinity, they own all these little subsidiaries
Mm-hmm.
that that all these companies own. Like Fox owns like this, and this. They might own. I'm not sure if they own Vice TV, but remember I think in that thing they said they were going to try to get a TV deal with Vice, and Vince put a stop to that, or Vince put a stop to that. The executive.
I do remember that them trying to get that Vice deal too. By the way,
Yeah, I remember that as well. And and you bring up MLW. They have that new show that they just debuted. It was like MLW Azteca. It's basically Lucha Underground, where they basically they partner with Lucha Underground, and now it's its own separate show. So it's kind of weird that all these things are kind of like tying it together.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see another one? I think we're going to see a men's participant in the Rumble, from Impact. That's not going to be announced. I think that's going to be like this. Hopefully, they keep it a secret. But I think you'll see someone from the men's side of the Impact. But the other thing too is people forget. We talk about this on Chick Foley's show. Like we talked about this maybe like a few months ago. WWE, obviously they cater to the fans and stuff like that. But right now, obviously they're a publicly traded company. So when they, people get mad when they're like, oh, why'd they announce this? Why'd they announce Johnny Knoxville? Why'd they announce, all these people that are going to be appearing in the Rumble? Well, they have to appease the people that have ownership in the company.
Exactly.
They have to sell. It's a business. So like, obviously it sucks for us because we want to be surprised when these things happen. But like, as far as like, it's the business. That's what they've all. I think that's why they do it. Is basically just to get it out there and say, hey investors, look who we have. Look who we have joining our show. Don't take your money away from us just yet. That type of thing.
And not to get off on a tangent though, real quick, but going back a couple weeks ago with the Tony Khan tweet with Big Swole, how people that was unprofessional and things like that. WWE, they undercut people in the dark, just like how they're doing the MLW.
Yeah,
just like this, and that's because they are a publicly traded company. AEW is a privately owned business.
Yep.
They can basically say what they want as long as in a way of like, as long as it's not going to hurt them financially or anything like that. I mean, they can't or not defame anybody or anything like that. They're a private business.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
But what my point is going back with this whole MLW thing. This is how WWE is unprofessional. Yeah, they don't do a tweet. They don't do. They don't go on wrestling or what's the other one with La Greca. They don't go on there and blast them.
Bust it open.
Yeah. They're, and that's kind of, you kind of have to respect it a little bit. They're out in the open, like, hey, yeah, this is why WWE sucks. This is why Nick Khan sucks. So I respect it, and it gets the WWE's is they're too cowards. They're too much of cowards to actually fight in the public eye because they are a publicly traded company.
Yeah. Hey, look, I mean, with what we're seeing with this whole Impact and the Forbidden Door stuff, maybe we'll start to see a little bit more of the partnership between the other companies. I do want to get into just this quick comment before we move on to the next topic. If an Impact OG shows up, someone with zero history with WWE, then I'll believe the Forbidden Door has truly opened in Stanford. I think that's a fair assessment. I think it's also interesting that people are bringing up, AEW names and other names within the wrestling world outside of Impact that would be seen at the Royal Rumble. I personally I'm not even sure that we'll see an Impact guy in the Rumble. But before we move on to the next topic, I want to ask you guys, and I want to ask the comment section, who are doing some great job keeping the chat alive. who is your Forbidden Door pick for the men's Rumble? JBone, I'll start with you. Someone from Impact or someone outside of Impact?
I think realistically, I think it is going to be a guy that used to be with WWE. You look at Impact, it could be a Cardona, but I think the one guy that it's going to be is Chris Jericho.
Wow.
Huh.
I could see it.
Because there's also rumblings of WWE and AEW talking about projects coming up,
Yeah.
The projects for I think it was just their documentaries, like they wanted some footage from AEW guys, but still it's something.
Yeah. And they spoke about, even having AEW, well, now they're AEW guys, but having them on the actual documentaries themselves and, talking to stuff like, so they're not leaving, things out of the air to cover all bases. But for guys, I would love to see it. I mentioned this on the show. Sami Callihan show up.
Ooh, all right.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the
I like
Rumble.
that.
And I just want, for some reason, him and KO to face off.
Oh, absolutely.
For some odd reason. Just like maybe the ring's cleared, KO's in there, Sami Callihan's music hits, that the lights go out, they do the whole gimmick that he has in Impact. And that'd be awesome. He was in NXT for a little bit too. But
true.
I don't think he was there for like a cup of tea essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he was gone. But so he's not technically a WWE guy. So I'm gonna go with Sami Callihan. I think he's a good go-to guy.
I think that could be a lot of fun to see
there.
Sami Callihan in there, especially how just bad they messed up his NXT run, like you alluded to. I would love to see him just get some type of run. I think they'll go for someone who's a bit of a bigger name. I think Jericho is definitely in the realm of possibility if we're talking AEW guys. Also, because we've seen the partnerships between AEW and WWE in the sense that, well, not necessarily WWE, but Jericho was on the Stone Cold podcast that they did on Peacock or the network or whatever it was by that point. So I think Jericho is a very possible, likely, guy to be in the Rumble match. I want to bring up Tyson mentioned. Sorry about your damn luck. James Storm could be it. I mean, we get a little reunion between Bobby Roode and James Storm.
That'd be pretty sick.
That could be pretty cool. I like that a lot.
That's a good pick.
That is a very good pick. I think you can't go wrong with something like that. A lot of different guys that you could choose from.
And he was in NXT for a cup of coffee too.
He was. Yeah. I think for 2 matches he was there. But still, I mean, you never know. I want to move on away from all of the Forbidden Door talk just for a little bit as we get into our final topic for Outside the Ropes. So, and this kind of blends into, the whole Who Won the Week Raw versus SmackDown stuff. But it was announced that Roman was going to get a new challenger on SmackDown. Didn't know who it was going to be until the end of the show when we saw Seth freaking Rollins, as he's called now. Apparently his actual name now is Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah. Whatever. Roman and Seth are going to be in a match at the Royal Rumble, which opens, again, the discussion. Is the brand split over? Now, I want to bring up, before we get into it, because I know that the unanimous answer is going to be, no, let's keep the brand split. I'm kidding. We're going to get rid of the brand split. The rumor as it states right now, and I don't want to put a source to it yet, but I'm pretty sure it was Meltzer, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But, excuse me, still have the cough going on. But Rollins was supposed to win the WWE title at day one. That's apparently the rumor right now. Even though there was a graphic that was posted that it said Big E was going to win, but apparently Rollins was supposed to win at day one. So now the concept that they're going forward with, again, just a rumor, is that Roman will lose to Seth at the Royal Rumble. Brock obviously will keep his title, and they might do another one of those belt swaps so that we can get to, I guess, what was supposed to be the likely result after day one, which is Rollins with the WWE title, Brock with the Universal title, which keeps the brand split intact, and it keeps those championship sales up because we still have 2 championships. Here's the thing. I'll start off on this one. I don't think that they would ever merge the 2 titles. I just don't think that it's in that realm of possibility right now, although we would love to see it because it makes sense with all these cuts. There was over 80 names that were cut last year. I don't think they're going to do it, but it is weird that they would go with Rollins as your champion into Mania? Because I feel like there are more possibilities with Roman as your Universal Champion, Brock as your WWE Champion, rather putting those two in a match and having Rollins go up against someone. I don't get it. I don't know what their logic is. Let's start with Boney. What are you thinking about all this?
Well, I don't know if what a title swap. I mean, what I could see happening is Seth wins the title, and then Roman is so incensed that he lost the title. He enters the Royal Rumble, wins it, and then challenges Brock for the WWE Championship, or challenges Seth, whatever, either or. I don't want to see that scenario play out, honestly, but I would much rather that than here you go, let's swap titles.
I know. That's the last thing I want to see. But do you think entering Roman in the Rumble makes him into a face because now you have that championship chase? Is that what they're going for? Or because, I mean, the way you look at it, bottom line is WrestleMania always ends with some type of, fairy tale ending, like happily ever after. So do you think they would go the route of turning Roman face here?
I don't know.
It's so many different things to think about with this that it's so simple just to keep the title on Roman and Brock.
There's still the Paul Heyman factor too.
Exactly.
I don't know if maybe they're going to still do that swerve where Heyman turns on Brock. They definitely teased it on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Roman didn't attack Paul Heyman; he attacked Brock, right?
Yeah.
So I don't.
I mean, we're seeing Brock interact with Roman. We're seeing Brock interact with Lashley. Like, It makes you think. I think we're still going to see this Paul Heyman story continue. I don't think they're going to drop this after building it up for so long. But I don't know. For me, it's either you merge the two titles or one of the guys loses their championship to do Brock and Roman. And at this point, it would have to be Roman because Brock just won his title. You're not going to have him lose the title. So, I mean, Marco, what are you thinking about all this?
Oh man, yeah, these are so many different scenarios you can, especially around Royal Rumble season. It's the possibilities are endless. I do think, I'm not sure they're going to merge the titles, but I do think they are going to do it where someone has both titles. Because the way Brock said it, say let's do a title for title match.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever wins gets the titles, and then obviously everyone was like, "Oh, that's a good idea," but that's not my idea. I'm not doing that type of thing. But I think that is happening. I think they are going to do it. It just depends on what two guys they want to have that match with.
Yeah.
And I could see. I mean, this if you think about like who on that roster right now could end Roman Reigns' run, like no one other than Seth Rollins, his brother in arms, and the guy that holds a win over him and Brock Lesnar. He's beaten both of those guys. They haven't beaten him yet. They're 0 whatever against Seth Rollins.
I mean, maybe
Rollins.
Drew is another guy. Like that's the only guy that I could think that they built up.
I mean, he has he's out for a while.
Yeah, Drew could be out for a little minute.
So I mean, he was supposed to be in the picture, but obviously they had him, get attacked by Happy Corbin and Madcap, whatever his
Mad Cow.
Mad Cow disease Moss. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. This is tricky. Usually you can kind of predict, but I mean, the scenario could be like, anyone that loses in those matches is going to show up in the Rumble.
Exactly.
So like if Lashley loses, he's showing up in the Rumble to try to get another shot. If Roman loses, he's showing up in the Rumble. If Seth Rollins loses, he's showing up in the Rumble. Same thing with Brock.
Let's look at it on the flip side now. And it's that, the rumor that I mentioned said that Rollins would be going into Mania as your champion. Boney, I'll open it up to you because, we've done a lot of fantasy booking on RAWDOWN for WrestleMania. If you have Rollins as your champion, who's your challenger? Because I can't think of anyone except for Big E because they built up the story already. There's no one else that you could tell me. And then you do the chase with Big E, obviously. But, I don't know. What are you thinking, Boney?
Well, yeah, you could have, where Brock retains. You could even do it where you got Elimination Chamber 2 coming up.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's another possibility. I mean, you can have it where Brock is in the Elimination Chamber. He's got to go through 5 other people, and maybe Roman finds a way to screw him out of the title.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I said, there's a lot of different opportunities here. But if Seth is the champion, I think the logical thing is to have Big E go up against him, whether Seth is WWE champion or Universal champion. Because like I said, there's a lot of different ways we can go about doing this. I know we'll talk about it. We had the match Monday night. I was a little disappointed what they did about it. I mean, it was a good match, but disappointed about the finish. But it very well could be because of that match where they could lead to a Seth Big E face off, and I think that would be a great match to really set that off. Like as far as like a either an opening of a Saturday night or a Sunday night Mania, or even close it out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'm. You still got to think like you mentioned, Elimination Chamber throws a whole wrench in the whole thing because we saw last year at Elimination Chamber. You got a whole new champion, right? Like it was Drew McIntyre, and then they changed it to The Miz, and then they changed it to Lashley. So you could have a whole different scenario here. It's still early for WWE talking about long-term booking, like they're not even going to book WrestleMania until 3 weeks out. So I think we'll hold off on this for now. I want to see where they go with Rollins and Reigns. The rumor right now is that Rollins is going to win. I don't know how they could make a story out of this between Reigns and Rollins to the point where it makes sense that Reigns loses his title after holding it for damn near like 500 days. So nevertheless, we'll hold on to this one, but I'm very curious as to see where we're going to go from here. But that is going to end off the Outside the Ropes segment. A lot of great news. We've already filled up near 40 minutes of news here, but it's time to get into some stuff that happened throughout the week within the ring. And I actually want to start this off with my favorite segment and yours.
Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and busters.
I love that intro.
It's a great intro.
So
Too
good.
bad that's the only good thing about NXT 2.0.
Oh, man. The NXT report. I did not watch NXT this week. Marco, you did. And I know that you had some stuff that you wanted to bring to the table. So tell us some stuff that we should be intrigued about for NXT this week.
Obviously, you had the show open up with Braun Breaker, the new NXT World Heavyweight Champion, which is pretty awesome. We didn't really get to talk about that. Him winning that title. I mean, we kind of glossed over it because it just happened. But yeah, that was inevitable. I mean, he's the face of the men's division there. So
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like they're going to push him crazy. At some
Something
point.
tells me it'll be a short title reign so that they can get him to that main roster very soon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I hope not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
hey,
yeah,
hold on.
sometimes
This actually,
Yeah.
we have to jump into this one because
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
Boney, explain your reasoning on this one. Are you
Yeah.
not a Braun Breaker fan?
No, I am.
Oh, then why did I do the whole video? I thought you didn't like him. I do the whole video for you.
No. Well, no, I mean, but I do have some of a hot take. You're talking about, if it's going to be a short reign. I don't think it's going to be a short reign. I think it's going to be a long reign.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he's the only good thing on NXT. I know you like your boy Tony D'Angelo. He's garbage.
He is not garbage.
Yes,
he fought Pete Dunne tonight in a crowbar on a pole match.
Oh my God! It's
some
it's
Vince
the
Russo
worst.
booking right there.
If you wheel.
It's the worst of two worlds. the occupational era of WWE going up against Vince Russo booking. Please, barf. Like, it's like, okay, now we got a garbage man coming out here. We're gonna have a dumpster match. Like it's shit.
Listen, bro, it gets him over, bro. It's
Grayson Waller. Bro. Grayson Waller, he's immediate turn off the TV. Find another show.
I love Grayson Waller. I think he's
doing
doing some great stuff. We'll talk about him when we get to Raw, but like him and AJ Styles, I don't know. How was the match tonight, Marco?
That match was actually really good. You had to see the AJ Styles, spoiler alert, won the match with the help of the one LA Knight. Made his return.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I like Grayson. I think he's annoying enough where you do want to turn your TV off.
I think that's
maybe that's what it is.
It's not go away heat. It's not good.
Well, someone was saying, God, why can't I remember? Oh, it was on the Ring Fanatics. Gina, she was mentioning that she feels like they're pushing Grayson Waller a lot because you look at it in the sense of the Miz, right? He's been the go away heat guy for a long time now. And that's WWE's version of go away heat, where it's just the annoying, just loudmouth guy.
Yep.
Miz is probably only going to be wrestling for a few more years, especially, pushing the Hollywood narrative. He's going to want to do all that stuff. He's already done Dancing with the Stars. The Miz doesn't have a lot left in him. So they're probably pushing Grayson Waller as that next guy to be like the cocky, young bullshit.
The Miz is talented. He's not.
But Grayson's pretty good too. I mean, obviously he's young. It's going to take him a little bit, but like I could see it. I could see fans hating him.
For the wrong reasons.
Well, I mean, maybe not in WWE's eyes. Maybe that's what they want. The whole go. I think that's what they want.
They want people to change the channel.
Well, no, you're not going to change the channel over Grayson Waller. Like, you're going to watch the show still. Come on now. I mean, I would say, like,
wasn't that the main event tonight? Was AJ and Grayson Waller?
Yeah, that was the main event.
That's exactly why I didn't watch it. I knew that was the main event. I was like,
I mean, you didn't watch it because it's 2.0. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. That's also.
Right.
I want to talk about this new sleeping gimmick. Marco, if you want to touch on that one.
All right. So that's a perfect thing. I'm glad you brought that up. I can't even talk. But yeah,
just as he's so flustered about
Grayson Waller is nowhere near that. Like, that's shut your TV off.
Really?
For me, anyway.
Okay.
A sleeping gimmick.
So
I'm gonna sleep on the ring apron until I'm getting tagged in, and then I'm gonna.
I had no clue I was on NXT this week. That's awesome.
So was it like an Orange Cassidy type thing where she kind of like included it in the
Orange Cassidy's cool. Like, he does his the hands in the pockets. He does the thumb. He's like that. Like, I really don't care. I don't give her like he's not saying that. Like,
so
he's
like, she include like the sleeping in her move set, because that would be
no. She's wearing pajamas. Like, she's like the whole gimmick is a whole like onesie pajama with a giant like one of those like big pillows, like adult size pillows.
Right.
And then she comes out, she's in the triple threat match. Not triple threat, sorry. Six woman tag match. And she's laying on the ring apron until her time is like it was I don't know. Like he said with the occupation gimmick thing, it's.
So did she fight at all, or did they win?
She did. Like, I knew it was kind of predictable. It was like she's like this like lazy. I'm sleeping during the whole match, and then as soon as she gets tagged in, she's like this like grade A like master wrestler and stuff like that.
Really?
So I knew that was going to kind of be the thing, but just the gimmick itself is.
That's such a waste. I feel like you would include, like, that's why I mentioned Orange Cassidy. Like, he includes his gimmick in the way he wrestles with like the little kicks and shit. Like,
yeah, no, it's bad. It's like she's like, I mean, when Orange Cassidy does it, when he's like doing his lazy stuff, and then he like goes into hyper mode, it looks cool. Like, it's like,
it works.
With this guy, but when she does it, it's maybe because she's wearing pajamas.
It works because it's not ripped off and it's creative.
Exactly.
It came from
it's organic.
WWE looks at it, I can do that.
At this point, fucking imitate all you want, because I need something new. So something good. Maybe not new, but I need something good. So if you need to imitate off AEW, be my guest.
You can't imitate Orange Cassidy. I don't care who
Absolutely
or what
not.
you are. Like he's a one of a kind. No, they say
Yeah.
like this guy or woman's a one of a kind talent. He's legit. Like I don't think you'll ever see a gimmick
Never.
like his.
They
ever.
broke the mold when they made Orange Cassidy.
No, exactly. If you listen to the show, I speak highly of his, especially of his figure. I picked his figure.
Oh, it's a great figure.
Last year.
Want to get that
Cassidy's
figure so
great.
bad.
Just because the innovation with the hand, like the pockets, like no figure has pockets where you can put your
That's
hands. I don't know, like if that's what they're going for, WWE, and they think that's what that is. Like if they, I mean, I didn't even think of that. Like they could actually be just like, mimicking Orange Cassidy and thinking,
it's so easy. I mean, I get it. I get it's impersonating, but like, come on, this shit writes itself. Just
the difference
make
is
her sleep
over.
when she wrestles.
Yeah.
You know,
the
what
difference
I mean?
is he's way over, and that's
true.
And she'll probably never be over until they give her a different gimmick.
She was what was the old gimmick with Xia Li?
Yes,
wasn't that her?
Yeah, I believe that was her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
like it's just I don't know. It's like I said. I always like when I see things like that. I go back to Eric Bischoff on 83 Weeks, where he says like wrestling's a buffet. Like there's something for everybody. Like if you don't like it, obviously you don't have to watch it.
Exactly.
That's just one of the things. That gimmick right there is something that I.
But who's watching that thinking that's good?
I mean, someone. I mean, probably no one watching it, but someone.
Yeah.
Someone that had the idea of that gimmick thought it was like good shit. Good shit.
Well, I'll put it to you like this before we move on, because there's only so much we could talk about NXT. But I'll put it like this: I feel like NXT is very hit or miss in the sense that this is developmental at the end of the day. So they're kind of just like throwing shit to the wall and seeing what sticks. I feel like this was one of those attempts of like, let's do a very outlandish gimmick, see if people pick up on it. I feel like someone like Grayson Waller and like Tony D'Angelo worked a lot because they immediately connected with the fans. Someone like Von Wagner, he's a project. You could see them changing a lot of his gimmick. Beating people up in the crowd and apparently he was suspended tonight. Like, all this different shit kind of piling up and making his character into what it's going to be. So I think that's the biggest thing to take away from 2.0 is that you're not going to have people that are immediately stars. It's going to be kind of building blocks. So something like this could evolve into something else. We already seen, I believe her actual name is Karen Q, was her original wrestling name. Go from the Xia Li scary, spooky shit to now this sleeping gimmick. You might see her with a few more changes to her gimmick. I think that's the main thing to take away from something like this is that you got to expect to see some shit because not everyone's going to connect immediately. But I mean, the guys that are connecting really well. Braun Breaker, I'm excited to see him as champion. Like, you know, a few of those guys, like, your Pete Dunnes and your LA Knights, I don't feel like they fit in this new NXT. You got to figure out what you're going to do with them. But we'll see. For now, I'm okay with NXT, although I did not watch this week because I had work to do. I mean, all right. Fair enough. All right, so let's get into Raw versus SmackDown. Before these comments, Grayson is the NXT version of The Miz. You see, Tyson gets it. And Tyson also says,
there you go, Tyson.
That Vaughn was Vaughn's suspension was lifted. All right. Well, looks like someone else watched tonight. Let's get into Raw versus SmackDown. Let's run down both shows before we get into the specifics. SmackDown last week, you saw the opening segment with Reigns and Lesnar. Rick Boogs, Hawk's favorite wrestler, defeated Sami Zayn with some Johnny Knoxville shenanigans. And then we had Charlotte Flair entering the Royal Rumble as champion, pulling a Brock Lesnar and defeating Naomi. You also had my favorite wrestler, Madcap Moss, and Baron Corbin defeating the Viking Raiders. You also had the Usos defeating the New Day in a street fight. And Seth Rollins is revealed to be Roman Reigns' opponent, as we mentioned earlier on in the show. Raw, on the other hand, saw an opening segment with Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, and the Hurt Business. You had Alpha Academy defeating RK Bro to be your new tag team champions. The Dirty Dogs and Apollo Crews picking up a surprising win over Damian Priest and the Street Profits. Seth Rollins defeated Big E. Omos defeated a random jobber. Grayson Waller, JBone's favorite wrestler, interfered in AJ Styles versus Austin Theory. And Dewdrop defeated Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair to be the number 1 contender against Becky Lynch. All right, so I will start things off with a
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
the thing that I would cut from this week: New Day versus the Usos, because we do not need to see this match 500 million times.
Yep.
This goes to show you the extreme lack of depth within the SmackDown Tag Team division. I don't know who they're going to make the Usos fight at WrestleMania, nor do I care. All the reason to merge the brands and do, I guess, Alpha Academy versus the Usos. But nevertheless, that's what I would cut, besides Madcap Moss. But I say that every week. I can't keep saying it. What's something that you guys would cut from this week? J-Bone, what are you thinking?
Let's see. Anything 24/7 related.
Yeah, that
of
goes
course.
without saying.
Oh,
I forgot to mention. Okay, I put it on my Twitter too. The whole, because you mentioned 24/7, the Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley segment was the worst thing.
oh,
in the
you're out
entire
of
world.
you're out of your mind.
I'm out of my
You're out-
mind.
you're out
It
of your
took them
mind.
10 minutes to just
You're out
do
of
the
your
turn.
mind.
Just do
You're
the
out of your
turn.
mind.
Why do I need to sit here for
You're
10
out of your
minutes and
mind.
listen
You're
to
out
a
of your
soap opera?
mind.
I'm out of my mind. Give me a break. I think it's great that Nikki Cross is the one that's turning, because maybe we'll see some
It's
actual Nikki Cross.
storytelling, bro.
Sure,
Yeah.
it's storytelling, but you could tell me a story in 2 minutes as opposed to 15 minutes.
See,
you know
that's
what
the
I mean?
problem. That's exactly what it's a problem.
I get
with
bored.
the
I'm sitting there listening
generation.
to Rhea. You got
This is-
to be my partner. I'm not going to be your partner. I can't fucking sit here for 10 minutes and listen to this. Oh my god! I thought the turn was great.
Rhea,
Rhea, like I can't sit. I thought the
get
turn
away
was great.
from it, don't care.
I thought the turn was great. I didn't need the soap opera. Oh,
That's exactly the problem, though. That's why WWE caters to your generation.
we got to be
man.
superheroes.
You
Like,
gotta
I
let
can't-
the story breathe, bro. Come on.
The story's got to breathe a little faster. Let's do some.
Yeah, that's
quick,
what's the problem. You
quick
just
breaths.
want it now, want it now, want it now. And so WWE says, "Okay, we'll give it to you now. We'll build this thing in 3 minutes, and then swoop. Now on to the next." You know, or we'll
You're
just
telling
keep
me
giving it to
you couldn't have done that segment in 5 minutes? I would
It's
give them 5
storytelling.
minutes max.
Storytelling, man.
I don't
Yeah, I
need.
think-
I
don't
thought it
need
was a great
storytelling.
segment.
I thought it was good too. I think they were going. I think they
Yeah.
were trying to like lead you towards Rhea turning on.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I thought
that's
that
what-
was really good.
And I think they went a little. I'll take both of your sides. They did go a little bit too long in telling that,
Mhm.
but I think they did the awesome thing in having Nikki turn on her, which is
Right.
now she has this delusional thing where like everyone needs a superhero. Even I think she's gonna do some gimmick where she's like, obviously she's bad now, but she's gonna do it like in a way where it's just like, you know, I'm doing this for you, even though you guys don't like it and you don't need it.
Right.
You're gonna have it. But
Well, the reason why it's on my my cut this week is because we immediately go into the 24/7, and I can't stand Janet Brooke anymore. I just can't do it. She's
Yeah.
so. Did you guys catch last week when they did the Reggie entrance, and she was supposed to do like that handstand on the ropes, and she just completely fucked it up? Enough with this. I cannot believe. We actually get Matt's in the cooler here. I'm with it. Thank you very much. Felt incredibly scripted. Took me out of it. We got to be superheroes. Tyson, thank you very much.
It was pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Thank you. I'm a big Shrek fan, as you can tell. The Rhea Cross segment was some of the worst script delivery of any segment in a long time. I agree with you. I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Madcap Moss segment with Drew and the sword out of the desk. That was bad. This at least told somewhat of a story.
Y'all are all out of your minds.
So I'll give you that. But I could take 5. You see, like AEW does their segments so quick. All the Tony Schiavone comes out. Griff Garrison, I know that there's something that you want to say to the crowd. He speaks for like 30 seconds. Malachi Black comes out, kicks him in the head. 2 minutes. That's all I need. and then a match for next week. That's all I need. I don't need fucking 15 minutes of Scottish bullshit soap opera. Oh my God.
Jeez.
Marco, what would you cut from this week?
Oh my God. Let's see. I'm not sure if I'll cut anything this week.
Really?
I mean, if anything, the 24. I mean, the given the 24.
Yeah, it goes without
stuff.
saying.
It's just that. Actually, you know what I would cut? Omos fighting that, like, not even a fight. It was basically
Leo Sparrow.
It was awful. It was.
I actually didn't mind it. I mean, you need to do those with Omos. Like, you need to build him back up, so it makes sense. The way they filmed
like
it, you know, they had the
grab
camera
one of
in
the
the
20.
ring.
I mean, they should just grab one of the 24 guys that run around chasing David Brooke. Like, like have him like do something like that. Like have him like, you know, they're doing that backstage segment with you don't have to have him in a match. Just have him do just like stuff they had Braun Strowman doing. Just like, you know, superhuman stuff. Like she's getting chased by all those guys, and he just like, you know, he just gets fed up, and he takes everything that we're thinking of and we're talking about, and he just demolishes that whole thing and just stops it in its tracks or something like that, instead of just having him beat some local.
Well, I think next week you're gonna get Reggie and Omos. I think that's what they were.
Oh my God!
Well, yes, I mean at least, yeah. I mean,
I don't hate Reggie though. I think Reggie's really fun to watch.
Yeah,
but when you put him with fucking Dana Brooke, like I can't do it.
What is
they're trying to do
today?
Yeah, I mean they're trying to do the opposite of R-Truth and Carmella, I think. Where R-Truth had the title. See, that was gold. That was
great.
Wow.
Like that was great stuff.
Yeah, that was actually really entertaining. Because freaking R-Truth he's a gem.
Yeah, of course.
He should never leave.
What's up?
Yeah,
What's up?
Yeah, I think they're trying to do it, but they're trying to do it, you know, the opposite way with the, you know, the female with the title and the male being like the, you know, trying to help her out. But they're just neither one of them are entertaining in that sense.
It's horrendous.
Yeah,
it's horrendous.
Neither one of them are funny.
Yeah,
not,
and to see that segment right after fucking we got to be superheroes, that just made
I'm a scary ogre. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need
oh shit.
Wrong.
You gotta laugh.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into another segment here. Time for the match of the week. I'll kick things off. I will go ahead and say that the triple threat main event for Monday, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair. I think you got some really cool spots with Bianca doing that, you know, 450 on Doudrop.
So freaking good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I think they're leaning towards Becky and Bianca for Mania. I feel like that's where they're going with, because I feel like they'll do Doudrop at Royal Rumble, maybe do an elimination chamber where Bianca wins, and then Bianca and Becky at Mania. But nevertheless, I feel like that was a really good match. Doudrop and Becky is going to be interesting. So I guess Doudrop's the face now. Not that it really matters, to be honest, but like, yeah, that was my match of the week. Marco, what was your match?
I'm gonna have to go with the ladies again. I'm gonna have to go Charlotte and Naomi. I thought that match was actually really good. I'm just glad that, you know, Naomi's getting more TV time. I thought that storyline was over with her and Sonya Deville, but apparently it isn't. I kind of like the.
Do you think they hold off until Mania on it?
Probably.
They already kind of, like facing each other, like having her.
Yeah, or doing something, the payoff at Mania, because it's a long time.
It looks like they're going that way. I'm just not sure what is it. I'm not sure that. I mean, it'd be awesome to see a Mania match between Naomi and Charlotte for the SmackDown championship, if that's what they're heading, because I think she definitely deserves it. She's one of the ladies that was in like the Diva era. Yeah, that kind of transcended into the women's evolution.
Just the other day was like her 10-year anniversary and being in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, she's a former 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. Like, Kind of got the Raw deal, I think, with all the new influx of women that came in from NXT and stuff like that. She kind of got lost in the shuffle. She's athletic as fuck, pretty much.
There you go.
Excuse
There
my
you go,
language.
Marco.
But yeah,
Let the bugs fly.
but yeah, I think I think they need that. Obviously Bianca's not on SmackDown anymore; she's on Raw. And I think they need that type of athleticism. Not that the women on SmackDown aren't athletic at all, but you get when you get to see Naomi in the ring, you get to see. I mean, obviously there are some in the past she's botched some things. Everyone's botched stuff, but having her work with Charlotte, I think, is going to make her 10 times better. And just like I said, any woman you put in the ring with Charlotte, they're gonna come off looking great, even if they lose. And I don't think you'll see the end of. I don't think it's the end of their storyline. I'm not sure if it's going to go to Mania, but I mean, if it does, I think that'd be pretty awesome.
For sure.
Naomi in that spotlight. But yeah, that's my match of the week. Them two.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go first because I would have pulled a Sheena Phelps and I'm like, well, I could have picked up.
Oh yeah, well, the ride the fence pick.
Yeah, because I do have two picks. I do have 2 picks. One I really thought the match with Big E and Seth was good.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of the outcome because man, they're doing what my boy Big E's dirty over there.
Man.
I mean, you got to let Seth win. Like, he's going to face Roman, possibly win the title. You got to build him up a little bit. But they definitely could have done it against someone else, not Big E.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a very, very good match. And if it becomes a Mania match, it'd be very, very entertaining to watch. But my match of the week is the Alpha Academy versus RK Bro.
Good pick.
It's a solid match. Very good storytelling. I think now we're on the road to RK Bro being split up. I think that's where we're going to be. I think Bony Damas is correct. I think I'm feeling a Riddle turn over a Orton turn.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
This was kind of just a transition to any last call for hot takes, but Boney, like,
yeah, I talked about this already, but I think Riddle. I think Riddle's gonna be the one to turn on Orton. I can see, and I think I talked about it last week. One week they're talking and they're trying to hash things out, and they like kind of almost like with Nikki and Rhea, and Riddle turns around and RKO's Orton.
Do we get 15 minutes of a promo too, or
we get 3
can
hours.
we just cut to the RKO?
We get 3 hours of promo.
I mean, if it's Randy Orton,
we're going to be superhero. I'm sorry, Marco. Go ahead.
No. If it's Randy Orton, it's gonna be longer than 15 minutes of story.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but
20 minutes alone for the entrance, but like the promo, I mean, God knows how long.
The great thing about Randy Orton, I'm a Randy Orton fan. The great thing about him is that you can. He carries you through the promos. Like, you hang on every single word
Very true.
that he says. So it won't be, if you want to throw in your imitation of
I've done it too much. I'm sure Chad's already made it a soundbite at this point. Actually, speaking of Chad, he's a huge fan of Alpha Academy. Underrated, great performance. Chad Gable, speaking of Chads, Chad Gable posted that their connection with Otis runs deep. They were Olympic training together. They moved close to each other so that they could train, and now they're a tag team, and now they're tag team champions. So I think that's awesome. I, of course, wasn't the biggest Alpha Academy fan at first. I think they grew on me a lot, and to see that there's a connection with these two, it makes me happy that Otis is still succeeding, because we all thought that once Heavy Machinery was done, he was fucked with this whole, Chad Gable pairing. But now you're starting to see that there's still a direction for him. And even Chad Gable, as Chad says, gives him Kurt Angle vibes, similar pedigree. I would love to see a Chad Gable push. I think that goes without saying. But we're just going to have to wait and see on Alpha Academy as your tag champs. I wonder what they do at Mania. If they do anything, they might just throw them in the Battle Royal. Who knows? Who knows? Any other hot takes from this week? I think I gave mine
Yeah, it was a terrible take, but good.
I mean,
it was a great take, actually. And my Scottish accent made it so much better.
Yeah, it was entertaining, but it's not really a hot take. Like, what the hell happened to the Hurt Business? Weren't they like?
Yeah.
Wasn't it coming back? Like,
It's so
coming
stupid.
back, and now they like, what the hell is what? Like, what the hell is going on?
It just works to have them all together.
It
Why?
really does.
Why break them? Especially with Brock. Like you saw it work with
so
Goldberg.
stupid.
Like Bobby and the Hurt Business versus Brock. I feel like that makes sense. If you had him up against Goldberg, you might need some backup for Brock, or maybe there's going to be more of a story here that they come and form back together. I don't know. This is so stupid that we can't just get the Hurt Business all together.
They were supposed to. They had the Hurt Business gear on. Like they looked like they were like kind of like making a comeback, and then they just attacked.
Ain't no stopping me now.
Yeah, no.
There's something stopping you. It's called
Sorry.
creative, Shelton.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we get into the final segment on today's episode, I just want to talk about the main event for Raw, with Doudrop being champion.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Do you see? I'm surprised that they're going with Doudrop. I knew once she was in the triple threat that she would probably get the win because Bianca and Liv already got their win, their matches. But I don't know. What do you guys expect to see from this feud? Is this a one-time thing? Will Doudrop be within the title picture? I don't know. JBone, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna give a hawk answer. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Oh man.
Happy birthday. No, I won't get into hawk. But, yeah, I mean, I agree. It's fine. Marco, anything?
I mean, I like it. It's different. It's a different opponent for Becky Lynch. And, Doudrop has been, she's been pretty consistent every week in and week out on Raw.
Yeah.
I mean that she's next in line. She's at like representation that they need. I mean, obviously Nia Jax is RIP, and
for good reason.
They need that. Yeah, they need that. They need the immovable object in front of Becky Lynch, because I like how they did the she went to do the rock bottom. I mean, she calls it the manhandle slam, but it's the rock bottom. Let's give it its real name.
But
and
my issue. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and obviously she couldn't pull it off, but I kind of don't like the fact that Doudrop is going to be like the face in this.
Okay, that's what I was going to bring up.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping she's still kind of like a heel, because they made her do that just to beat up on Bianca Belair, which is kind of stupid. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, like I said, I'm interested to see where it goes. If if this carries on until Mania or maybe Elimination Chamber, like you guys mentioned, have Doudrop and Bianca be like the last two.
I like the idea of Doudrop better. I like the idea of Doudrop better as a heel. I feel like she just works better. Her face gimmick is just like so bland.
Yeah.
Like the fucking whatever she does with her hands.
Yeah.
It just works better as a heel. So that's why I was happy when they started the feud with Bianca. I feel like if you turn her face, like, sure, it works because Becky is a heel, whatever. Yep. I think Becky will cheat to win. I honestly think that maybe they're, the way I think about it is if you turn Doudrop face, this kind of opens the door, and she could do it if she was a heel, but I feel like it works better if she's a face. To win the WrestleMania Battle Royal. I feel like that could be really good for her. I feel like that's a spot for her that, like,
I don't know if they're going to do that with the women's.
I mean, they haven't done it in, 2 years now. So
I don't know if they
bring
could
it back. That's true. Fucking you can't. Oh man, never mind. If you want to do maybe a 5-person Battle Royal,
they're gonna have to.
Fuck.
Man,
unless they bring back AEW's women's roster
Impact.
or
no,
something
they're gonna have to make nice with the MLW and get some of their talent if they want to pull that off.
I think the limit for a battle royal in WWE 2K is 8 people. So if you could fill out an 8-person battle royal, I don't know, but hell, I mean, if they do the battle royal, or shit, maybe she wins the Andre the Giant battle royal. Who knows?
Yeah,
But you need
possible.
something for her. So I don't know. Maybe they go about that.
I don't know who's writing for the women's division, but they'd be fired.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
The
Not great.
women's
Not
division
great.
has been booked so poorly in WWE over the last year. It's just terrible.
Yep.
Agreed.
You can say that again. But nevertheless, we are going to move on to the final segment and the most important segment here on the RAWDOWN.
Who won the week?
Simple 4-word question. We end off every episode with it. Raw, SmackDown, who won the week?
Well,
Boney.
not NXT, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. Do I have to play the?
South slang.
I won't do that again.
Yeah, I love that.
Boney, who won the week?
I'm gonna go with Raw.
Yeah.
I thought it was both solid shows, but I'm gonna go with Raw. I think Raw.
Fair.
You know, we
Had a lot of good
saw-
matches.
Yeah, we saw the title change. A lot of good, pretty good storytelling. You know,
Very true.
so
Marco.
Just to be different, I'll go SmackDown mainly because we got Johnny Knoxville dumping Sami Zayn over the top rope, and we got that. Yeah, we got that. They actually played the theme song.
Yeah,
that was
he's
good.
actually and he's in the Rumble. I think I'm the only one that wants him to win and go on and face Roman
Could you imagine?
or Seth Rollins. Imagine Johnny Knoxville versus Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar
Hey,
at
man.
WrestleMania.
You got to
Oh my
avenge
God.
the Jon Stewart Seth Rollins feud. Throw in Johnny Knoxville. Why not?
That
Hi,
that-
I'm Johnny Knoxville. This is called The Future Endeavored.
Yeah, no, and maybe he needs some retribution for that Butterbean fight in the first
Oh
movie.
god,
He
I
got
forgot about that.
completely knocked out cold. I mean,
Good
if you
Lord.
kids haven't seen it, definitely go back and watch the first Jackass movie. And I dare you not to laugh throughout the whole movie.
Jackass is great.
It is.
I'm excited for the fourth movie. Give me all the Jackass. I don't care if it's 2000 or 2022. Give me Jackass. Just don't give it to me in the Royal Rumble.
Oh no, yeah, it's true.
Very true. I will. We're in a tie here. Raw 1, SmackDown 1. But I will have to give it to Raw because I thought it was just a really solid show. I
Yeah,
know,
it was.
unfortunate. But I thought it was a really solid show. We had a title change. We have a new direction here with, Dewdrop winning the match.
I thought you were gonna say Nikki ASH.
Oh shit!
The
That
key
that
to
really
direction.
put me on the. I was like, with that Nikki segment, it was like a little
Out of your mind.
Out of here, like, but it made it pretty good. But yeah, I'll give it to Raw. It was a really solid show, and I just thought it was pretty good overall. But with that all out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have just about wrapped up another successful episode of the RAWDOWN. If you liked what you saw, and I know you did, or if you liked what you heard, and again, I know that you did, make sure to leave a like on this video. Leave a comment telling us what you thought of the week that was WWE. Tell us about your opinions on the Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross segment. Did you like 15 minutes of utter bullshit? I know you didn't. I know we'll be seeing a comment from this guy over here, but I digress. Support the tavern in any way possible. Big announcement: the tavern has just hit 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow!
So big props to anyone who has followed. If you haven't already, please do so. Subscribe to the tavern. We're on the road to 600 or so. I know that we can get there soon. A lot of great things happening at the tavern. So support in any way that can. Plus, if you liked hearing us today, you could hear us tomorrow on the audio version of the podcast over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and everywhere else that you can get your podcast. JBone, do a quick plug. Where can we find Coming Down the Aisle?
Just head over to Coming Down there. Real quick, easy. Go to comingdowntheaislepod.com. Comingdowntheaislepod.com gives you all the links to everything you got going on.
Marco, Chick Foley Show. Where can we find it?
Of course, Chick Foley on IG, Chick Foley Show on Twitter, the Pod Foundation on IG and Twitter, and all things everyone, Turnbuckle, Extra Cooler Show, Chick Foley Show, Coming Down the Aisle, Pod Foundation to stay up to date on all those shows.
Hell yeah.
Zone.
All great stuff.
Sick.
Make sure you support all of because of course, Tyson says it perfectly. The tavern is the best place to be. The Pod Foundation is the best place to be. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into yet another edition of the RAWDOWN. We will be back here next week for another jam-packed edition of the show. But until then, we got to be superheroes. Knock your ass,
I love it.
Rhea. Take care, spike your hair. Woo, woo, woo.
You know it.